Well, good afternoon. My name is Reverend Debra Frazier Sermons, and today is Wednesday, September the 29th, 2021. Now, I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Calvin Walker. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Mr. Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we will be interviewing you for you to tell us about your history, your reality of growing up and living in the Alachua, Florida area. Before we begin, I just want to give you a little background. This project, this oral history project of our valued senior citizens in Alachua. We're partnering with the University of Florida, Samuel Proctor Oral History Program, and we're also partnering with the Alachua Public Library. And we're so happy to have them as sponsors here today and for this project.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mr. Walker, tell me a little bit about yourself and where and when were you born?
My name is Calvin Walker, and I was born in Bland, Florida. And my parents' name was Libia Bailey. Her last name is Nixon. And my father's name was James Straughter. And I was born out in Bland.
My family knows your family.
Yes, we know each other.
That's right. My family was the Jacksons.
Right.
And we're out there in Bland also.
Right.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have living. I have 2 sisters on my mother's side, and I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers on my father's side.
Okay. Did they also grow up in the Bland, Alachua area?
Mm-hmm.
Where were your parents from?
I believe my mom told me Columbia County. I think that's where it was, when they was born.
Okay. Both of them?
My dad here in Alachua.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, so he's seen this whole area grow from when it was just the little houses around the railroad track to the city it is.
Right.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. And you have too.
Yeah, I was born out in rural area.
Right.
Out in Bland.
Right.
And we done farm work.
Yes.
That's what we done at that time. And that's where I grew up, and as I grew up and got larger, we moved from place to place, from Pompano to Bridgeton, New Jersey.
Okay.
My mama was a firm believer. She didn't believe in living on welfare. Mm-hmm. And so she told us that she was not going to raise us on welfare. She was going to drag us from coast to coast to raise us, and that's what she done.
Okay.
And she done a good job raising us, but we had a hard life.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, of that generation, they did the best they could with what they had.
Right.
And they were very resourceful.
Right.
Right, exactly. So from New Jersey, you moved back to Alachua?
No, Pompano, Beach, Florida.
You went to Pompano first and then moved back here?
No, we went to Pompano. Mm-hmm. That's where we were going on a season.
Okay.
And we left from Pompano, went to Bridgeton, New Jersey.
Okay.
Then back to Pompano, then back to Alachua.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay. Did you all do that every year?
We done it every year.
Okay. Okay. When did you stop going from Pompano, New Jersey, Pompano?
I was the age of 16 years old when I stopped.
Okay. Okay.
And my mom died at age, I was age 16. And I had 4 sisters that I had to raise.
So you're the elder of the family?
I'm the baby. Knee baby.
Knee baby.
I'm the knee baby, but I taken care of all my sisters.
Wow.
And 2 they all got out of the house.
Okay. That was a lot for a young man at the age of 16.
Yeah, but it made a man out of me. I was always material from my childhood up because I always wanted to help my mom, and that's what I done. And when she passed away, then I taken over the household.
Do you remember anything about your grandparents?
Only my grandmother. Her name was Lula Jones. And I'm not sure where she was raised at, but she lived on a farm until she left here and went to Eustis at age 80 years old.
Wow.
But she done farm work, and she told me that her husband that passed away, he was buying a place, I think it was 20 acres. Mm-hmm. And when he passed away, that this man that owned the property told her if she grew her a wagon load of corn, he let it go toward the place. Mm-hmm. So that's what she paid the place off with. Just farming herself.
Just by herself?
Yeah, with the hoe.
That's a lot.
With the hoe. Uh-huh.
But she did what she needed to do for her family.
Right.
And was that in the Bland, Alachua area too?
Yeah, it's Bland.
Does your family still own that property?
One of my first cousins lived in the house.
Wow, that's remarkable to have that type of legacy in your family.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about your grandfathers on either side?
I didn't know my grandfather. I know just a little bit about my grandfather on my father's side, but not enough to know anything about him.
Okay. Where did you attend school?
Asthma out in Bland. Mm-hmm. That's where I first started off. I wasn't old enough, but then back then, so they didn't have a kindergarten, but they would let you go to school. And I went underage until we left and went to Pompano. Okay. And I cannot remember the school down there so many years. That's been 86 years ago.
No, I understand how that is. But when you returned to the Alachua Bland area, did you continue your education?
No. I had to stop because I worked all the time.
All right. But when you were in school in Bland and down in Pompano, what impact did that have upon you? Were there any teachers or situations that really impacted you while you were in school?
There were some teachers that made me want to teach school. Okay. But I wasn't able to maintain it, because like I said, my mom died young, and I had a responsibility taking care of my sisters. Right. And as far as I could go for school. My big learning that I got while I was, out of school. Right.
But that speaks well of the teachers that you had in your life, that they inspired you to also want to teach.
Right, they did.
What other role models were there? What other positive role models did you have growing up, in addition to the teachers that you had?
My grandmama.
Your grandmother?
My grandma, she lives in my heart today. She was a great religious woman. And she didn't do much talking, but you had to learn from what she do. Well, she didn't tell you anything too much, but she was a great light holder.
Awesome.
You could learn a whole lot from her about how she lived it. Mm-hmm. She lived a dedicated life from day to day.
Was this your mother's mom or your father's?
That's my mother's mom.
Is this the same grandmother that at 80 moved to Eustis?
Yeah, she died at Eustis at 103.
I don't know what it is about Mount Dora, Eustis area. I have a family member that moved down there also and lived to be around 103. And her mother lived to be about that age.
Yeah. Well, that's the way the Bland community people live. I think when one girl plays, he pulls another one. And that's what happened in Pompano. What her name? I can't call her name, but she had to be your aunt. I knew her real well.
Elizabeth?
No, it wasn't Elizabeth. It's the other one. Lizzie.
Lizzie, yeah.
Lizzie, yeah. She the one causing my mom to go down there.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes. And her and Aunt Lizzie's mother lived to be 103, and she was taking care of her before she died.
Oh, okay. All right.
So our families are connected. Okay. Did you and your family attend church?
Yes, all my life. Yes, almost. The first church up here was New Hope.
Yes.
Bland. And by going back and forth from south, coming back up here, I joined Mount Zion, Santa Fe.
Okay.
They went close. Then I joined New St. Mary. It was Old St. Mary at the time. But they changed the names when they come to town to New St. Mary.
Okay, okay. Now, St. Mary Missionary Baptist Church and Mount Zion, Santa Fe, and New Hope, they were all in that Bland Lake Cross area?
Santa Fe was at, Mount Zion was at Santa Fe.
Okay.
Okay, and Bland was New Hope. And also Old St. Mary is out in Bland too.
Oh, okay.
Old St. Mary. Then they moved to Alachua, and they changed the name to New St. Mary.
Right, okay. That church is right across from my grandparents.
Right.
Grandparents' house, yes, okay. Now, your family were active churchgoers.
Right.
But how did going to church affect you? How did that impact your life?
That's part of my life, even to this day. It made a man out of me, really, because I had something to live for, and still do.
And you're currently a member of New St. Mary?
No, hang with Shiloh.
Shiloh, okay.
New Shiloh was hang with.
New Shiloh. Seems like all those churches are in the same area.
In the same area. We all fellowship, into this corporate come on. We fellowship once a month together.
Yes. Our church is a member of togetherness too.
We all in there together.
Yes. But I understand that fellowship of the churches has been going on for many years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Are you involved in, I know as your family travel, especially doing seasonal work, did you have a chance to be involved in any other activities, or most everything was working?
Oh, everything was working. I married in 1956, and I'm a father of 7 kids, 5 boys and 2 girls. And I'm married to Gus and Madison. And she died May 23rd, I believe it was.
The 23rd
of 2016.
Okay.
May the 23rd, 2016. I think I got that right.
Okay. After how many years? Well, you were married in 1956, and she died in 16?
Yeah, I married 60 years and 5 months.
Yes. That's a long time.
Yeah. But we had a happy marriage too.
Amen. That's a blessing. And raised 7 children. Right here in the Alachua area.
Right.
Now, during the time you were married, were you all in the Bland area, or Lake Cross, or primarily in the city limits? In Bland?
That's where we met, at Bland.
Okay.
And we moved to Alachua.
Okay. During the time that you've lived in this area, is there a significant difference between Bland and Alachua, or is it all the same from your perspective?
Seems to me it's all the same. But they have grown so much too. Just everywhere, even it's so different out there, even in Bland, because they're building up out there just like they is in the city.
Yes.
And they really don't look like the same place.
I can agree with you on that.
Yeah.
After living here, moving and coming back,
Right.
It has definitely changed.
Right, it really changed.
Yes, it has. Now, you work hard, and you were supporting your wife and 7 children. Did you have time for any hobbies?
Yeah, I done I done this yard work, like cleaning the cemetery. You know this Newnansville cemetery?
Yes, yes.
That was my hobby.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've done that for 50 years.
Wow. Okay. So you don't see that as a job. You take pleasure in doing that.
It wasn't a job. People always think I had a business. I told them I didn't never had a business. I done it for enjoyment, really.
But you know what?
And I was helping them old people because when it growed up, it was a swamp.
Yeah.
And it growed up, and those that was interested, they would go out there and clean their family spot like that. And my property right across from them, and I saw what they were doing.
Right.
And they had a time getting people together, but when they do get some together, they raise a little money to pay somebody to clean it. And they just go out there, just make motion just to get that little money what they be done raise. And that bothered me. So I asked the Lord to let me have it. And the man that was over is Reverend Elliot Will, a home. And I told him to let me clean it. So he told me he'd get back with me. And so we made an agreement. And my church, I was training the young people to know how to give to the church.
Right.
And so I involved them in with me cleaning it. And I told the church after the expenses be taken out for, cleaning,
Right.
then the remainder will go to the church. And that's what we done.
Wow.
That's what we done. That's how it come about with the cemetery. And after we got it cleaned, and everybody wants it, they clean it, though they know they wasn't going to do it.
Right.
But I told him a small amount for him not to tell anybody else of what I would do it for.
Right.
What much a little another.
Right.
Just keep me going. That's what it was.
Right.
And I think he said he had about 4 or 5 bidders, and their price was so high. Until his fell into my hand. Okay. And that's how I got it. And I bought it from a swamp to where it is today.
Wow. 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 You've done an excellent job.
Well, thank you.
But that leads me to another question about Newnansville Cemetery. Are you caretaker of the entire property?
Yeah.
Black and the white section?
No, just the black.
Just the black section.
Just the black.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
50 years.
Wow. When you mentioned earlier about helping people, some people have a gift. It's one thing to cut the grass. It's another thing when you groom the lawn.
Right.
And I've seen your work. And you definitely have the gift to groom it versus just cutting it.
Okay.
So when you said you've been doing this 50 years, you never mentioned it was a job. You just said you enjoy doing it.
It's just a hobby, enjoy doing it.
And when it seems like when it's a natural gift, you enjoy doing it just for the sake of doing it.
Right.
And then the care and attention that you take to it.
Right.
Because working with on this project, the Newnansville Alachua project, I've seen the cemetery and how well you have kept it.
Thank you.
Very good job.
Thank you.
So just for clarification, there's someone else who cleans the other section of the Newnansville cemetery.
I don't know who it is.
Okay.
I don't know anything about that one.
Okay. All right.
But the older fella that passed away, he saw how I come in with the cleaning that. He wanted me to clean it. But I would never tell him to work. I know that was too big a responsibility for me. Yes. And I just started trying to get them straightened out.
Right.
And I couldn't do both of them. So I would never tell him words that I would take it.
Okay. I could imagine, Mr. Walker, that was quite an endeavor to clean it because Florida is swamp.
Right.
And the way it looks now and the type of shrubbery that grows there, it probably took you a while to get it to where it is now and to maintain it.
I had through a lot of big trees and also azaleas. I had to dig all them other people go out and plant and they grew up to be big.
Yes.
If you go down that lane there, That's those acres that I dug up out of the cemetery and placed them there, because the president wanted me to get rid of them. I told him, no, let me put it down the lane to greet the peoples when they comes in, and that's the purpose of it down the lane like that.
That is so thoughtful of you,
Right.
and I noticed that, so thank you. And it is doing that. It greets those that come down there.
Right.
That's an awesome job. Now, the Newnansville Cemetery, has it met its capacity in terms of could you put any more graves there?
You can still put graves there. They started putting graves there.
Okay.
But it's closing in.
All right.
It's closing in, but you could bury quite a few there right on.
Is there a governing body for the cemetery? Is there a group of people to come together that work with you about making decisions about the cemetery?
I don't be involved in making decisions. They make decisions. I just keep it up.
Okay.
And that's what happens. So, but here's a group of people that's over that they make decisions. Okay. And I just keep it up. And it don't never bother me about it, what I'm doing or anything. I just use my own mind and take care of it.
Awesome. I also want to talk with you further about your desire to give and to help educate others. You mentioned that by you taking as a caretaker of the Newnansville, basically Alachua Cemetery, that you were working with the young people in the church, teaching them how to give back to the church.
Right.
How did that idea come about?
This was my idea, but I wouldn't want to discuss that.
Okay.
Part of the reason why I thought of the idea, but I saw something was going on and it was going the wrong direction, and I was trying to teach them the right way that they're supposed to do in the church. I taught them you're supposed to give and not take. This was my reason why that I involved them in teaching them how to give to the church.
Well, I applaud you for that because that's very important that young people learn that at an early age.
Right.
That the church, we should all give in some way.
Right.
Because we all have resources and God wants us to share that back with the church.
Right.
So I applaud you for that. So how many years did you do that, training of the young people?
It was about, I just done that for just the time that I was cleaning the cemetery. I had them to help with doing basic things that a child could do.
Right.
And that didn't last very long.
Okay.
I would say about a year.
Okay. Well, some of them I would like to think have grown up and now they know the importance of work and how when you groom the lawn versus just cutting the grass, what difference it makes because of what you show them how to do and what you model for them.
Right.
Have you, in other ways, given back to the community, like helping young people?
I don't know, laying good examples. The only thing I can say that I've been doing was I hear a lot of comment on that. Awesome.
Great job. Do you have, at your young age of, I think it was 86?
My age now is 85. In 2 months, I'll be 86.
86 in 2 months? Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Happy early birthday. You have many friends that are still here in the area?
Most of them dead, passed away. There's not too many people really I knew now.
Wow.
They know me, this younger generation knows me. Because every time they see me, they call my name, but I don't know them.
And just think, you have an opportunity like me to meet the next generation, the children of the people that you knew.
Right.
Yes. Yes, most definitely. Now, when you think about your childhood, how was your parents' childhood? Do you know anything about their childhood?
I don't know anything too much about my parents' childhood because my mom stayed busy working all the time, trying to take care of us. And she didn't spend a whole lot of time talking with us. The only thing she always done, she worked it hard, come home and cook for us and get us off the bed, and she clean our house before she go to bed. And that was an everyday thing.
Yes.
And I have watched it so she told me, say, if you don't have nothing but a bed and table, keep it clean.
Yes.
That's what she told me, but she had good morals, and she really taught us a whole lot by laying an example. My grandmama did too.
It makes a difference when you get that type of training at home from those in the home.
Right.
But as you said, I'm sure it was rough, one person, with the help of your grandmother, trying to raise everyone and keep everyone straight.
Right. I had a white fella tell me he was on dialysis, my wife was on dialysis, and he saw me, he told me that, Calvin, you know what? He said, oh, he's from out the blind area too. My mom worked for his mama, and he knew all about her and how we lived it. And he said, Calvin, I never could understand how your mama raised 7 kids. He said, but she done it. He told me just before he died. So now he watched all that himself, seeing how but his mama used to send dish pan full of cooked food home to us to keep. My mom have to cook when she go home.
Oh, wow.
I remember that well. And the house is still sitting out there. Some of the grands lives in it. So he passed away before my wife did, probably 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay. You know what? That just goes to show that we don't live in private.
Right.
We actually live public.
Right.
And what we do is seen by many.
Right.
But that's a very good testament to your mother.
Right.
And to you all for him to have observed.
Right.
But he took the time to tell you.
Yeah, he told me. The minute he saw me, he told me, but he just didn't see how could she do it, but she done it.
How did that make you feel?
I felt real good, very good.
What a compliment, yes. Now, when you were growing up, how was it? Did you feel like you had many choices in life in terms of what you want to do when you grew up, or?
I just wanted to help my mama, because I had said that we had saw her work. If I ever get grown and get a job, I wasn't gonna never marry her. I was gonna take care of my mom. I said I wasn't gonna let her pick up nothing, no ladders and broom.
Wow.
But she didn't make it.
Because you saw how hard she worked, and you really appreciate the sacrifice that she made.
Yes.
Even to the extent you would not even get married?
No, I wouldn't get married. I just want to take care of her.
A lot of moms would love to hear that from their sons. Would love to hear that from the sons. So in addition to your working in the field, which a lot of people did because this was an agricultural area, and with the yard work, was there any other things that you did, maybe involved in the church?
I was a deacon at the church.
Oh, okay.
And I've been there about, I want to make sure I get that right, I think 63 years, not 63, we had the same much time that I've 2 years before, after I married, I come to be a deacon, so they had to be 58 years.
Yes, okay. That's quite a testament to you also.
Right. What made me to be the man I am was this old white lady. When we was at Pompano, so we had a big field that we picked beans. First you could see there was not a big field, and they had people facing each other from one end to the other, and they had a group in the center. One group facing this group, and the other group facing that group, so it would be 4 groups all together. The beans rows just that long.
Right.
And I begged my mom to let me go to work, and she didn't want me to go because she said I was not a baby. But I wouldn't give up. Every time she come home, I still beg her. Then my aunt got tired of me begging her, and she got hold to her and told her, you let that boy go to work. Don't you see he wants to work? And she finally gave up and let me went to work. And I was following the other people's, whatever I see they was doing, that's what I was doing. They picking beans, but I'm trying to keep up with them and leave part of my beans. And I done it every day, and this white lady was over the field. And she saw what I was doing, and she would come out there every day and make me pick up my crate and go back to the end and start over again. And she would help me. She sit right there, help me pick. And I was so mad with her. My mom wouldn't say nothing, my aunts, none of them wouldn't say a word. But I was so mad with that woman. But she done it every day till I finally made my mind I can do it right. And she's the reason why I'm at who I am today. She taught me how to work.
Yeah.
Because if she hadn't taught me how to come up like most people doing things all kind of ways. But she taught me that. And when she found out that I was going to do it right, she told me, she said, now, Calvin, you're doing it right. From now on in, she said, if you do go to do something, do it right the first time. And you will always have a job. And that stayed with me. And you know what? People beg me to work. I don't never go to them. They come to me. And that's where I am today. So her word stands out and proves that she was right. So I give her credit for who I am today for its working.
Yes. What a great testimony.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very rich story.
Yeah.
How old were you when you were begging to go?
Old.
5 years old.
5 years old. I will never forget that 5 years old because I begged my mama to go to work because I want to help her. But see, I was just trying. She didn't have time to try to train me because she's trying to make a living for all of us.
Exactly.
But they didn't get bad like the pastor. They kept their mouth shut, and because they know that they was trying to help raise us.
Right.
And that's what she done, and that's still with me today. And every time I think about it, if I was where that old one was, I'd hug her. Or she blessed my future.
Yes. That's the thing about a blessing. God uses anybody. He uses anybody.
Right.
But the fact that you were 5 years old, you wanted to go to work, but it was something. It seems like there was something in you that caused you to want to model to others, because you had mentioned you were trying to keep up with them.
Right.
Even though you were leaving some things.
Right.
But not only did she give you the encouragement, but when you said she actually helped you when you went back.
Right.
Yes, and that's the beauty of encouraging, helping someone, that you not only tell them, but you're willing to get in there with them and show them.
Well, that's what she done every day until I made up my mind to do it right.
What a blessing. And the fact that stayed with you the remainder of your life.
It's up to this day. I appreciate her and her grave.
You know, I appreciate you sharing that, because I used to say my mom went to the same school a lot of other women went to. It's just that I don't know the name of the school, because she would say the same thing. And I hear other people say the same thing. I say, wait a minute, you grew up in another part of the country. How come they're saying the same message? She said the same thing. Do it right the first time. You do not have to go back and do it again.
That's what she told me. That's what she told me. She told me I will always have a job.
That's true.
And it found out to be true.
That's true. That's true.
Always have a job. When people always wanted me. When they see my work, they want me.
It speaks for itself.
Right.
You don't have to get a billboard and announce it.
Right.
That is a great blessing. I'm sure you pass that on to your kids.
I did.
Were you tough on them? Were you and your wife tough parents?
I think she's more tough than I was, because I stayed working all the time.
Okay.
I always worked the 2 jobs.
Okay.
And she more tighter than I was, but she really done a good job raising them. So they're good kids. Never give us no trouble.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. And was that sort of common during that time, that the husbands would go off to work? And
They had to.
And the child rearing and housekeeping, all of that would be the wife's responsibility.
Right.
You know, out in the Bland area, they used to have, at the end of the season, like they would kill a hog and everyone get together. You all participated in that also? Yeah,
my grandparents did. They shared all. Just like when they kill hog killing time, they would share what some of the meats and stuff like that. And what one didn't have, if the other had it, they shared it, you know. And that's where they were so close together like that, because they share everything. If one give out of sugar, if the other had some, they'll share what they had with them. And that's where there was a lot of love back then. Now I know about that from a kid, but I could tell how it's straight in a way. It's so different now from what it was when I came up.
Right. The definition of family, how it is defined in the family unit, has definitely changed, hasn't it?
Right. Sure have. It doesn't have any morals anymore about anything.
Do you know what date and year that changed? It just seems like it changed all of a sudden.
No, it didn't change all of a sudden. Gradually changed. And it come through parents changing and training the children different. Because most children, they don't want to raise their children like I raised them. See what I'm saying? And that's where that change come about. And it got out of hand. And see now where the kids tell the parents what to do.
Yes, I've witnessed that. I've witnessed that. And it's definitely different from when I grew up.
Right.
How did becoming a parent impact your life? Remember now, you said you just wanted to grow up and take care of your mom.
I feel like I was a parent from my childhood. Because my brother had 2 kids. My mom had taken them, and she was raising them when she died. I had them also.
Wow. Okay.
And I was a proud uncle. Some people thought that was my kids, but it was my niece and nephew.
Wow.
And they were just like my kids because I loved them to death.
So how many children were in the home when you became head of household at age 16?
It's 4 girls. 4 girls and myself.
And some of your sisters were older than you?
All of them was older than me, all of the girls, but 1. 3 girls was older than I am. And the last one was a baby. And we was 5 years apart.
Wow. So she was 11, because you were 16 in 5 years. That's a lot for a young man on his shoulder.
But I enjoy the Lord just blessed me. He just blessed me through all of it because I didn't do it on my own.
Are you all still close today? Especially those with your siblings. Are you still close with your brothers and sisters, and especially your niece and nephew that you raised?
Yeah, my nephew, he's dead. Your nephew, but niece, we are distant, but it's not really close because I guess that's the way we was raised already. We're not really close, but if we in trouble, we show up.
Yes. A lot of people like that. Yes.
Yeah, sure. But other than that, we stay our distance.
Okay. Do they live in the area?
I have one sister live in Sanford.
Okay.
And one live in Gainesville.
Okay. How many grandchildren do you have?
7.
7? You still got 7 and 7. You had 7 children and 7 grandchildren?
And 1 great.
And 1 great. Wow. How was it being a grandpa?
I love it because I raised one of my grands. And I love his son. He told me the other night I was his idol. Yeah, he told me the other night on the phone I was his idol. He said he's trying to be a man like I am.
Oh, what a great way to honor your grandfather.
Yeah,
That's
he told
awesome.
me that the other night when we were talking on the phone.
How did that make you feel?
Felt real good. I really do feel real great. Because that was the one I raised from a baby. He knew more about me than my own children, because my wife had them, because I worked the 2 jobs. Only thing they know me working and come back home and sleeping. But this one, I take him away with me. When I get off my job at night, I take him to the cemetery, and where I'm working, I'll take him with him as a baby. And he knows about it, grew up, until he got in school.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. You know, throughout your lifetime, Mr. Walker, what would you say was some of the most challenging times for you?
I never even thought about that, really. Because after I got taken over the responsibility of my sister and everything, like things got easier for me. And the Lord had to be in the plan and the making for it to be that way.
Yes.
It was a rough life, but then I was able to accomplish whatever I wanted to accomplish. And I was the type of person like, I don't pay attention to people's not going nowhere. That's what I say, is like this. I always pay attention to people that look like they're going somewhere. And that's where I get my growth. I listen to people that wise and making wise decisions. I don't pay attention to people that, just saying words and ain't getting nowhere and don't have nothing to show for it.
Right. Right.
And that's where I really grew up. Since you brought that up, I thought about when I got hired at GE. There was a white man was my supervisor. And when I got hired there, within 6 months, he interviewed me and he let me know how I was doing. And he told me I had passed the test, and then he went to give me some advices. And he told me, say, in that stage, with you like the white one, he said, Calvin, it might not seem like much. He said, the company offers us a lot of benefits. He said, it might not seem like much, but you take it. He said, in the future, he said, you'd be glad you did. That's what he told me. And I thought about that. I said, well, now, he really concerned about me to tell me all this. And I took his advice because I saw future in it. And he's the reason why that I bought a bond on my job. And I forgot about him, just buy them, let them take them out every month. Forgot about him. And then bonds bought my house.
Wow.
It sure did. And he's another one that I give credit. So those type things I do, I look at people's with good advices. Well, if you just talking just to be talking, I don't pay no attention to you.
You know what? Thank you for sharing that, because that's good wisdom that will bless many, and especially those who will see this interview, because that's very sage word. So thank you for sharing that. You know, when you mentioned earlier about you never thought of it as a challenge, I'm sure your sisters and everyone else helped you while you were working. They made sure that when you got home, they had probably cooked and done everything else around the house. Not too much. You had to come home and cook too?
Not too much. I was always around man all the time. My mom said when I was a baby, she said I was too nice, nasty. And she said I wasn't going to never marry.
Okay, for those who will be viewing this, tell them what nice, nasty means.
I don't know what she meant. That's what she told me. I was not going to never marry because I was too nice, nasty. Things had to be just right. That's what it was. And my clothes had to be clean just right. And nobody could do it for her.
Oh, okay.
And that's why she would always tell me that.
Okay.
And when she passed away and I got married, my aunt would come and find out I had so many kids. And she would die laughing. She said, I wish your mom was here. She always told you were never married, and 8 years got 7 kids.
And did you give up ironing your shirts?
No, I still do it today.
See, your way, right? Okay.
It has to be my way.
Hey, it has worked out for you, so that's good. It would be nice for her to have seen that and see now. What have you, in addition to what you learned from the woman who shared with you when you were 5 years old in the field, and the gentleman who shared with you at GE, have there been others that have deposited words of wisdom along your lifetime?
I haven't found anybody as any valuable than those people. And it has been good to my grandmama.
Okay.
My grandma was number one.
Okay.
But other than those, I've seen other people with very few. But those 3 people, they're my top priority. And I think about them every day.
Wow. Awesome. I'm sure your life, with all its twists and turns, but you've had blessings all along the way.
Right, I did. I really did.
Are you currently involved in any organizations in the community?
No.
You still active in the church as a deacon?
No, I just work. That's all. I'm a by myself person, really.
Okay.
I've just been that way all my life, you know. I just enjoy being by myself and just work. I'm active, but working, I have to work. When my feet hit the floor, I'm working. Eating some breakfast and get to work.
Get to work. Get to work.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say nice, nasty, but do you still have that? Do you have a set routine, just like you like your shirts ironed a certain way?
Yeah.
Do you get up in the morning, certain time, leave a certain time?
I don't. No, I don't. It's always different.
Okay.
Or always something other will change the plans. It's always different, but I still do it. Might be a few minutes late or something like that, but I still have my same routine every day.
Has there been throughout your lifetime something that you had desired to do, but for whatever reason haven't, and maybe still have that dream today, a desire?
Yeah, I have an old house on a picture on my wall. I got it out there in the car porch. I love that house. I have a piece of property. I would just love to see that house on it. And I'm not gonna give up to the end. I say if I didn't live but one day in it, I would just love to see that house. And that's my last dream that I wanted. But now I'm just living. That's all, and enjoy life.
Amen. But you never give up your dreams.
No,
never give up your hope.
I don't never give up my hope.
Yeah, because just like you didn't know about the house, you just started purchasing the bonds, and look what a blessing that was.
Right.
So you keep your dream. You never know.
You never know.
Never know. You never know. You never know. You mentioned about when you were talking about the Alachua Newnansville Cemetery, that you own property across from it. How long have you owned that property?
Oh, that had to be 40-some years.
Wow.
That had to be 40-some years.
So you maintain that in addition to the cemetery.
Yes.
So similar terrain.
Right.
It seems like if you don't keep it up, it'll become like a swamp.
Right, I don't keep it up as much as I used. I'm trying to get it back in shape. When my wife got sick, I had to take care of her, and that cut me back. And that's one of the things I knew I had to cut back from was that I let that go to take care of her, and that was a 7 days job. She still, get around in a wheelchair,
Right.
But then nothing she could do but no more than to roll around in the house and things like that. Whatever she could do, she done that.
Right.
But I was her caregiver from the day she got sick until the day she passed away.
You have such a big, generous heart.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, you do. You do. You really do. Your church work, you mentioned that you're a deacon and that you have trained the youth. Are you still active in the church?
Since this COVID, I've been staying away from the church because of my age, and I don't go inside building too much. I'm surprised y'all got me in here.
Well, we did take precautions. And we are sensitive to that. But we really appreciate you coming and sharing with us. We really do. We really do. Talking about COVID, how do you feel about COVID and its impact upon not only you, but all of us? Because COVID impacted the whole world. It's still impacting the whole world.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Well, this is something strange that I never saw before. I'm not afraid or nothing like that. I'm still living the way I always live, but I'll be conscious about everything. I'm not hard-headed, and I don't try to make it I'm so religious until I just go slack and doing all kind of things. I'm very conscious, and I treat everybody the same. Since I don't know where it is, who got it, who ain't got it, I stay my distance. It's just that simple.
I think that's good practice for all of us.
Right.
Yes. Maybe one day soon, COVID will go away.
I hope so, but I never saw nothing like this before in my life.
Me either. How has COVID affected your family?
I can't tell much different because we in the same house and we stay at our distance. So I can't tell no different, really. I really can't.
Okay.
So we don't change at all because we always had a certain way that we lived it. And that's where we never was people that's on top of one another.
Right, okay.
I have a son in the same house with me, and he'd go and come, and I don't even know he didn't come.
Okay.
The only time that he would say something if he needed to tell me anything, he brings the meal, he put it in a certain place where he knew that I can get it, and things like that. But if he don't need me, he won't even say a word.
Okay. So everyone has their respective places.
Right.
Yes. What about within your church family? Has COVID impacted your church family?
I couldn't tell how they is really, because like I said, I stayed my distance.
Okay.
And I would never knew how it affect them.
Okay. It seems to have had a big impact in Alachua.
Right.
On a lot of people.
Right.
But it does come down to what you said, just keeping your distance and practicing self-care.
Right.
And self-protection.
Right.
How do you feel about, are you familiar with climate change?
No, not really.
Well, the weather has significantly changed in the pattern from what it was before. Does it seem like the weather here in Florida is much hotter or colder than what it was?
This year it's just so different this year from what it been being, because it wasn't near as hot. This year it had been being. It used to be burning hot. But this year it just in spots.
Yes.
It was kind of hot.
Yes.
That's different I saw in that.
And that probably was good for you since you always outdoors.
Right. I really enjoy it.
That was a blessing.
Yeah.
Let's turn a little to politics. What about the election of President Barack Obama? How did you feel about that?
I like Barack Obama fine, except for one thing. When he gave them the marry meal, and that's one thing I was against, because that was against the Bible, word of God. And that's one of the things that I saw in him that I thought he made a big flaw, was giving them the privilege for all males marry, men's and women's marrying women's. And that's ridiculous. Just looking at it, it's ridiculous. And I didn't approve of that at all. But other than that, I liked him.
Oh, good. And what about President Trump?
No, you see nothing about him that I liked. I'm being fair with you, because that was an evil man. I ain't seen nothing I feel about him. Because it's my opinion that he had a lot to do with the division amongst the peoples. That's my opinion, and I truly believe that.
You know, shifting from President Trump, there's been a lot of unrest throughout the United States with the injustices and murders of African Americans, young people and old.
Right.
And then we had during COVID, we had the killing, George Floyd killing. How did all of that impact you? What are your thoughts on that?
It just, I tell you, I just see those things and don't see them myself really, because I never want to get involved, because there'd be so much behind closed doors until you don't know what's going on. And I just don't get involved in politics at all.
Okay. So you were seeing that as political also? There was a political aspect to the racial, how can I say this? The response to the racial injustice and the killing. You saw a political aspect to that?
I saw a lot of that had something to do with it.
Okay.
A lot of that had something to do with it. But there's nothing new, but they just got equipment now where they can't get away, where people could see everything. But they've been doing that back in the time of old. They always have been unjust to the black man.
Now, growing up here in this community, there's been, like the jars behind you, they represent African American men who died because of injustice. Reverend A.S.J. Allen was a Methodist minister. At that time, he went from different churches serving. And Harold, he was the son, we don't know the remainder of his name. They both were in the Alachua, Newnansville area. And during the time when you were growing up until now, What type of injustices did you witness, you were aware of, or you knew of that happened here in Alachua and in the Bland area?
It's been so long that I couldn't even tell you about things of that nature. Like I said, that I always been a by myself person, and a lot of things I seen and didn't see.
Okay.
That's the way I was.
Okay.
But I never believed in politics too much. I tried to until they killed President Kennedy, and they took everything away from me.
You know, I've heard that common refrain from other persons of color that what happened to President Kennedy changed their opinion about politics.
It sure did. It really done something to me.
Yes. Do you have a distrust for government, or are you just cautious about all your dealings, political, government-wise?
I'm cautious about everything.
Okay. How do you feel about the disparity, the difference between those who have and those who don't have, between the wealthy and poor people? How do you feel about that in America?
Well, I tell you, I'm like this. See, I come from the poor family, and I felt like this. If I can make it, you can make it. I know it's not on the same level, but some people can do better, but they don't want to do better. They just enjoy being in poverty, and you can't get them out of that. And so it's hard to, really feel sorry for people like that, because there's so many of them. I ain't never seen a life of so many people on the streets begging in all my life. And some of it is uncalled for. And what bothers me is the most, because like a lot of them under the bridge, and they say they're well educated, but they choose that path. Now, some things that's happened that you can't do anything about it. But a lot of that comes from don't care.
Don't care. You think also your attitude about that is shaped by what you shared with us earlier, about what your mother said? She didn't want you all to be on welfare. That's why you all moved around to keep a job and keep you all fed.
She was determined, and I couldn't understand it until I got grown. And after I got grown, I understood why she done that. Because you could get in a trench and get comfortable and don't want to come out of it. You could train yourself that way. So it's just hard to know how to feel sorry for people when they're like that.
You can still make a living in America.
Right.
And you can still find a job.
Right.
What are your feelings about law enforcement? Throughout your years as a black man growing up in the South, in Florida, North Central Florida at that, have there been any instances, not necessarily with you, but where there was unjust treatment by police officers?
Yeah, it's right here in Alachua where I've been involved in some of it. I know just I've done at the gas station in my old truck, getting some gas. And when I got my gas, then I pulled off into the street. When I pulled off in the street, the police are under the bridge. And I thought about it, I didn't have my seatbelt on. And I took and hooked it up. And he took off right behind me and stopped me. And he checked my record, see I had a clean record. But he gave me a ticket just for that belt. I had to pay $100-some.
Not even a warning?
No warning. I'm telling you, you'd be surprised how rotten the police is. You think that these innocent people, they pull all kind of tricks. I mean, just like that. Now, he saw me get my belt and hooked up, and he clunked up and come behind me and stopped me. And he checked my record and knew I had a clean record. He said, I see you got a clean record, but I'm going to charge you for not having your seatbelt. And he charged me $125 for a seatbelt. So we have a lot of that goes on with police. People can't trust them because I know there's some good ones in there, but there's some rotten ones in there too.
Right. Was that your first encounter with law enforcement?
That was the first one that would be treated that way. Mm-hmm. When I had another one, me and my wife was going to get when they first built this 75 here.
Yes.
And they had all the rules and things so confusing. And I got off on it just before Christmas. I got off and I couldn't tell whether it was a 4-lane drive, so I got to the further lane on this side. Mm-hmm. It was on the wrong street. And I discovered that I was wrong, so I got over and then the police come stop me. And he told me, he said, I know this is confusing here. And he said, I know you didn't intend to do that, it's confusing, but pay a close attention act, and then another one come, they joins up. Mm-hmm. And he blamed for them to go head on, because he knew that he was going to let me go, and he didn't want them to know what he was doing. And he told me, because you need that money for Christmas for your family. And the words that he told me.
That's nice.
So and that was a good one, and the other one was a bad one.
Yes, because they do have the discretion of giving warning.
Yeah, right.
Yes. But you know what? After living in this area this long, and from what you shared with us about your life experiences, it did not deter you in any way from doing good and being who you are.
Right. He didn't do anything. The fact that because I had too much experience with the man upstairs.
Yes.
I have too much experience with him upstairs, and I can't afford to let him down.
After living in this area, what can you share about, was there a difference living in the Alachua, Newnansville area, like at the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement, where you had Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, to where it is now?
It's been a struggle, but it's sad to say that it taken so long for people's eyes to come open to see what good work that he done. Mm. Now they give him so much credit now after he is gone. But it was a fight for him to get where he was at. Mm. But I could see the change. And I could see a lot of people that didn't even know him appreciate that the work he's done.
Mr. Walker, I would love to hear from you to share about you as a strong, God-believing, trusting man. How living here in the Alachua County, Alachua, Newnansville area, what changes have you seen? Are there some places and things that have changed where you couldn't go before that you can go now? Are there some places, or just how different is it from when you were a young man, when you started out raising your family?
It's a great big difference. Start with the banks.
Okay.
They didn't want to lend you money and things like that. Because I put to the test with my first house that I built, I had saved the money working 2 jobs. And I went to the bank in High Springs and see if I could borrow against that so I could build my house. I didn't want to start it and couldn't finish it.
Right.
And the man told me, go and spend that what you got and then come back. But he didn't tell me you gonna let me have it or not. He just told me, go and spend that you got and then come back. And there's several things that I saw. I had work in the field right beside white people, and they would pay them $1 more than they pay a black person. And so it's a lot of things I have seen, but it didn't stop me.
Right.
A lot of things, but it have changed. Now we have a whole lot of privilege that we didn't have back there.
I remember my parents talk about in Bland and walking from Bland to Alachua, which is 10 miles. Did you do that sometimes?
Yes, I had walked from Alachua to back out in Bland to Alachua, because I didn't have no transportation. Many days.
I'll be honest with you, when I first heard that, I went, 10 miles, yeah, y'all kidding.
Yeah.
But then when I got older and put the speedometer, it is 10 miles.
Yeah.
From the country to what they consider the city.
But when you get used to it, it's common.
Yeah.
Because if you got to do something, you got to do it. So
Exactly.
you think nothing about it.
Exactly. Now, during the time of civil distress, did you raise your kids differently? How did you advise your kids?
I never done the advice at first. white and black. They picked up on whatever they picked up on their own. Because I never did believe in that. I had enough to face myself, and so I felt like I had to learn, they would learn, and which they did. They picked it up. Sam was one of my old kids. When they merged the schools together, black and white, he didn't want that. And I wasn't surprised, but he didn't get it from me or his mom. But it was in his genes that he didn't want to merge. And he wouldn't learn nothing until they give him a black teacher. And then he started learning.
I've heard that familiar refrain too, of those who were against the schools coming together because they felt a sense of community before, and they didn't know if they would have the same thing going forward. I can understand that. Now, do you participate in elections? Do you go and vote?
Like I told you, it killed my spirit when they killed the president. I didn't like that for what they'd done. It's pure out of meanness. And I just didn't want nothing to do with it.
So as you said earlier, you mostly stay to yourself and take care of yourself and do what you have to do.
Right. That's what I do from day to day.
Do you watch the news?
Yes, I watch the news. And very depressed to see so much going on.
Yes, news is depressing.
Yes, it's bad. And the part that I don't understand why people enjoy killing each other. And it's just like they're spitting out those, just good. Whatever the mind tell them to do, just do it.
So are you thinking some of what's going on, the breakdown, is part of, like you said, the mind, mental health issues maybe?
I think it's your mess that they're putting in the system, messing their minds up. It's have a lot to do with it.
With the drugs?
With the drugs. And you'd be surprised that the people's on drugs. And it got them so messed up until they don't know the right hand from the left one.
You know, Mr. Walker, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation and learning more about you. Can you think of anything that you would like to share that I've not asked you?
Well, I think I have said more than I thought I would be able to say. I've said more than I ever thought I was going to be able to say.
But it's been very informative. You've lived a rich, full life, and you're still living it.
Right.
And because of your years, you have a lot to share.
Right.
And I'm thankful that you accepted this invitation to share with us your realities, your life story, and tell it from your point of view, from your perspective.
Right.
Because we all can experience the same thing, but we experience it differently.
Right. That's true. That's very true.
I have just a couple questions. One about you, one about the cemetery. So my first question was, you said that you never thought you'd have kids, that your mom never thought you'd have kids. So I'm wondering, what changed your mind? Did your wife have something to do with it?
No, it just come natural.
Yeah, just getting older.
Yes, come natural.
My other question was, what do you know about the history of the cemetery as far as when were the first people placed there and who were they?
I couldn't tell you that, because it has been way before my time.
Okay.
The cemetery probably over 100-some years old.
Okay. Do you know what, like the oldest grave you've seen there? Can you think of it?
I never kept that in mind. There's some old ones there, though.
I bet. Well, that was all I have. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome.